Hardly any even exceptionally competent historian can point out a period in the history of mankind when it tried to solve its health problems without resorting to the aid of plants. But in the course of several centuries preceding the present moment, when anthropocentric cosmism of the tradition was gradually ousting by the heliocentric, let's say, chaoticism, brought into fashion mainly by Nicholas Copernicus, the prevailing views on the healing powers of plants, as well as on many other things, underwent substantial changes. And now, if the attention of a typical certified pharmacist or other specialist in the field of medicine lingers on plants, he, as a rule, does not suspect any of their cosmic connections and is not able to see any aspects of the existence of plants except for biological and chemical ones. Because of this kind of specialist blinkeredness, we observe the process of gradual depletion of the pharmacopoeia. A considerable number of even those plants which a few centuries ago were regarded as the most important, nowadays are not considered medicinal at all. It would seem that no one in his right mind is capable of accepting the idea that IT people have been so inadequate for many centuries that they stubbornly used as medicine what did not help them in any way, or the plants that used to have medicinal properties suddenly lost them not so long ago. But who knows what, in fact, can be attributed to their predecessors by those who imagine themselves to be on a higher stage of development in comparison with them. From my point of view, we are not moving upwards. We are degrading. So as far as the subject we are discussing is concerned, I propose to trust in the guidance of those who have not yet been as blind as we are. Next, I shall present to you the result of my attempt to synthesize the recommendations of 3 English astrologers whose portraits, names, and years of life you can see on your screen, regarding how to deal with medicinal plants so that they can fully manifest their healing abilities for us. To put it more precisely, and in unison with Nicholas Culpeper, so that those abilities are twice their usual measure, or as another healer of the same period said, so that he who uses plants as a remedy may have reason to hope for miraculous results from their use. If you have no doubts as to which planet rules the plant you intend to gather, and that part of it which you require is in a proper condition, namely, the roots are in sufficiently dry soil, the above-ground organs are also dry, of normal succulence and color, The flowers are at the peak of their development, and the seeds are quite ripe. The bark is not difficult to separate from the underbark, and the fruit's peel covers exactly the ripe fruit. Then take what you need, having waited for the conjunction or harmonious aspect, trine or sextile of the corresponding ruling planet, or a planet whose elemental nature is similar to the nature of that ruling planet, with the moon, or at least the conjunction of the moon with a fixed star of similar nature. In addition to this factor, the gathering of the medicinal raw material during the unequal hour of the planets ruling the plants to be procured, or at least of a planet whose elemental nature corresponds to its similar nature, will also contribute significantly to our success. The essential and accidental dignity of its planetary ruler is also a desirable circumstance in its procurement. If, however, in attempting to establish such a ruler of the plant, you are faced with the equivalence of arguments in favor of two different candidates for this status, it is better to schedule the gathering of the parts of the plant you need for such a time period when both those planets will communicate with the moon in some favorable way. And finally, if you intend to gather something from a plant ruled either by Saturn, Mars, or Mercury, you should, if possible, wait for such a time period when the corresponding planetary ruler will be communicating in some favorable way with either Jupiter, the Sun, or Venus. If, when intending to gather something from a plant, for example, a light-loving plant, you have access to both its specimens growing in the sun and in a shady place, you should better choose the former. A plant that has grown in comfortable conditions for it will be able to show its qualities more effectively. Dry the collected plant material according to the convention of the already mentioned Nicholas Culpeper, should not be in the shade, as it is recommended to do more than Haebel's, but certainly in the sun. But if you follow the said healer here, then make an allowance for the fact that in our days the great luminary is much less gentle than for centuries ago, and relying on his beneficence unconditionally, you are most likely to doom your plant material to damage. If you place it in the sun, keep an eye on its coloring. If it shows the slightest signs of deviation from the norm, immediately remove that raw material to the shade. When it is quite dry, pocketing heavy paper, refraining, however, from excessive compression, and then keeping a dry and not too cold place, as long as that medicinal raw material retains its normal smell and color.